Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. I'm Linda, and joining me on the show tonight is Robert and Bridgeman. Good evening, guys.
Good evening, Linda. Good evening, Bridge. Good to be on with yourselves. Hope you've had a good weekend.
Evening, Bridge.
It's doing it again to me. That's it. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Bridge. Good evening.
I've got mute button. Good evening to everyone. Can I say good evening to yourself, Linda and Robert, and of course the techie boys in the background, Foxy and Terry. And can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in, all over the world, I woke up this morning and we were top of the league. That'll do for me. Everybody happy. Keep it going to the Rangers all the time. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
I thought you were going to burst into song there, Bridge.
Oh, nearly. There's a few guys put through in the sort of Rangers Radio. It was brilliant. Some of the stuff was excellent. Really good.
How are you, Robert? How was your weekend?
Top weekend, Linda. Pardon the pun. No, it was a good weekend. A lot of positive feelings going forward now. And obviously we've been in this position before. But it's been a while since we've been at the top of the pile, and it's a good feeling to have. So a good weekend overall, but we're at the top now and we've got to stay there. So the next game is just as important as yesterday's game.
Yeah, spot on, Robert. Bridge, we're going to go through the game just to get your thoughts, you and Robert's thoughts on the kind of main talking points and stuff. But overall, Bridge, it was just really important to get that victory yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm a 1-0 man most of the time, so as far as I was concerned, that was a fabulous goal that young lad scored. What a tremendous goal. And as far as I was concerned, the pitch at St Johnstone is a shambles. And the referee, I don't want to say too much of the referee now, but really and truly, we could have had better. We could have had a better pitch and we could have had a better referee. But we got there, and so once we got 1-0 up, I thought, just ring the bell now, referee, just blow the final whistle. This will do me fine, top of the league. So that was me happy. But outstanding stuff for Rangers, outstanding. And the fans, unbelievable. The away fans were just out of this world. Really, really brilliant. So well done to all the Rangers fans that were there. Well done.
In our family chat, Bridge, we just said to each other, we'll take a Bridgeman. So that's synonymous with you, Bridge. You've got your own catchphrase and it does the rounds in the weekend. But it was.
That was really nice you thinking about me.
I know, there you go. You're in our thoughts, definitely. But yeah, absolutely. So Robert, we started the starting team. He made a few changes. The manager, and he's been doing this over the last few games. Going to have to use everybody, Robert. I think he had the usual. Nobody's replacing Butland, I don't think, just now. So we had Butland, we had Tav, Goldson, Suter, Barisic. He brought Diomande, Lundstrom, Scott Wright started on the right, Cantwell, Cortez and Silva up front. So any surprises there for you, Robert?
Scott Wright starting was a bit of a surprise. And probably I'd say Barisic as well, just given the form that Yilmaz is on. But I could understand as well, just freshen things up with the changes there. But the Scott Wright one certainly does surprise me, given the fact that McCausland has nailed down that right-hand side position for his own. Nobody's really challenged him for it. And again, Scott Wright didn't do enough for me in the first 45 minutes to warrant a position ahead of McCausland. And then Cortez is, again, he's a more left-sided player. So probably those two players, Linda. But again, Diomande as well, because suddenly didn't play since maybe November. A kind of full competitive game, but he looked really, really sharp yesterday. Really sharp. I'm interested to see how he develops throughout.
Yeah, I suppose with McCausland, it was maybe just giving him a wee bit of a rest, Robert, and probably on that right side, Scott Wright is the kind of a replacement there, isn't he? I suppose it's just a case of, he needs to manage the squad. But so Robert, there wasn't really an awful lot to talk about in the game up until we got the goal. I mean, I know that you don't want to blame the pitch too much, but the pitch was really awful. It wasn't conducive to good football, the type of football that Clement's trying to get his team to play. And I don't know about you, but I was thinking it's going to take either a mistake from them or maybe a bit of quality from us in terms of a shot at goal, and we certainly got it with Dio's goal, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a great strike, and it came at him pretty quickly, so he controlled it well with his left foot initially, and then get the strike away pretty quick, and no goalkeeper saving that. So a bit of quality, as you say, that broke the deadlock. But again, it shows the adaptability we've got in the team now to find a way through teams or play to conditions such as weather or the pitch. So it certainly was pleasing to see again that he could adapt to something within a game environment, whether including making the changes as well, that it could adjust to that kind of condition and get the result.
Yeah. Bridget was some strike, wasn't it? And let's hope the wee boy Diomandi's got that in his locker, because we might need that in some of these games, Bridge, won't we?
Oh yes, oh yes. Like, there was a wonderful shot. He made it himself, to be honest. Walking back to him quickly, he just had to get very quick with his feet and get sort of control of it. And he just smashed it. What a beautiful shot. And you know, it was swerving a wee bit. So even if the keeper got near it, he would have to go further just to get his hands on the ball. It was a fabulous goal by Rangers and the Rangers team. Great build up. And it was that one seemed to ease the tension a wee bit. And I think the guys just started to relax a wee bit and play a wee bit of football and get possession and so on and so forth. Wonderful stuff. Great to watch.
It was a bit of a relief, Bridge, wasn't it? Because, as I said there, you were kind of thinking, where's a goal going to come from? We seem to be struggling with the pitch, and I know, Bridge, it's not easy with resources and what's available to Scottish teams, but surely, to goodness, the pitches have got to try and be improved, eh?
Well, what can you say? Like, there's not much we can say. St Johnstone, in the warmer weather, I must admit, most pitches are good, but their pitch is pretty good. I remember the last couple of years we went to St Johnstone and the pitch has always been pretty bad. Maybe they've wet it. at that time. But seriously, to me it was terrible. Our players were slipping all over the place, particularly Diamande scored the goal. But it took them a wee while to get that. I would say it took them about 20 minutes or so just to get their feet right. And whether they would get it right for the whole game or not, I don't know. But seriously, there's lots of things that can disappoint people, and I get disappointed easily. Because you know what I've said for years and years and years, most of my life, the best leveller there is a pitch. And what's the biggest impact on the pitch? The weather. So there's two great levelers, and if you get a negative on either of those two, or even both, then it's against you. Because if they can bring them down, and that's what it's all about, they just stick up their 5-6 man defence and then pile the midfield back as well. So you're against 10 men in the box. Murder pause.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to negate it there, sorry.
No, it's fine, Bridge. I mean, the thing is, it can be a leveller, and I know we had a lot of problems with the pitch at Ibrox over the years, but certainly recently it's absolutely perfect, the pitch, and thank goodness they've got that all sorted. But Robert, as we move towards half time, the only other thing I can think of chance was the one that Wright could have maybe played Cantwell in. I think there was some good play with Silva, and the ball broke to Scott Wright, and he just needed to roll Todd Cantwell in. But he overhit the pass, Robert, and you could see with Cantwell's reaction, he was quite disappointed, wasn't he?
Yeah, at first viewing, Linda, I actually thought Wright was caught in two minds, and before he knew it, he'd passed the ball, where he was kind of trying to curl it into the top corner, if that was his thinking process, and before he knew it, he'd already made the pass and overhit it. But it was a good chance because Cantwell is 1-on-1 with the keeper then, and you're putting your house on him to score and make it 2-0, and that's the tie done at half time. And then again, the second half, you could probably get away with making some changes earlier, but we obviously made a change at half time, which impacted the game massively, I felt, as well.
Yeah, you're right. So we got to half time 1-0. Was good to go in a goal up, because you know you think it just kind of calms everybody down a wee bit. I don't think the players looked flustered at all, but as fans we just kind of want to get that lead, don't we? So Robert, we did start brightly, and he brought on Dujon Sterling for Scott Wright, and Sterling he had some really good work on the right hand side. I think it was with Diomande, and they put a cross in, and Silva connected well with it, Robert, but it was a good save by the goalie.
It was, and if I'm probably being a bit critical, I'd probably say it was just a bit behind Silva, so he kind of had to adjust his body. If that's in front of him and he's running onto it, I think he gets a cleaner contact and he probably sticks it away, and it would be a lightning start. But it probably was more of a surprise as well that, again, he put Sterling into that wide position. There's just doesn't seem to be a position that boy can play.
Aye. He's certainly a machine, isn't he, Bridge? Dujon Sterling, what a find he's been. He can play any position, and I think it's only Jack Butland it's probably quite safe now from Big Dujon, but some player, Bridgie.
Yeah, he's an excellent, great prospect, isn't he? Just super duper. And he wants to play, he's desperate to play. And of course, his endeavour got us a penalty, which the referee walked away from. Absolutely walked away from. He wasn't giving it. No matter what, he wasn't giving it. And can I just say this, and I don't mean to jump the gun, that's 2 penalties that referee walked away from. Never made any decision. So as far as he was concerned, Rangers were getting nothing, and that's the fact. Rangers were getting nothing. VAR stepped in twice, and VAR made him change his mind. And that is criminal. That's criminal. That was in an ordinary game. Without VAR, you're knackered. You're just not getting it. So that's wrong. The SFA need to step up and work these things out. Sorry, pal.
It's okay, Bridge. I'll just stay with you for the penalty. I mean, the thing about it, I think we had Sterling himself had a good chance with a header, Bridge, just before that first penalty. The ball came in for Cantwell and he got a wee glance on it, and he was a wee bit unlucky. But you're right, Bridge. He got the penalty. He won it. I think he blocked the ball. It spun off him, or the player, the Johnson player, and then Dujon follows it into the box. And as you say, Bridge, it's a stonewall penalty, and the fact that the referee needed VAR to sort that one out for him is quite concerning, Bridge. But I don't know whether they're becoming a bit more frightened to give these decisions, or whether it's just a lack of ability, Bridge. But it's a stonewaller, isn't it?
As far as I'm concerned, they should hang their head in shame. Okay, once, you know what I mean, you're in a game there once, and okay, it was a both really tight decisions, and I can understand it. He never actually looked at them, probably never saw them, and neither did his linesman, or they were told not to bother. So in my opinion, that's what that was about. He was ignoring it completely. It's the same with Cheating Beaton, and it's the same with Don Robertson, and so many others. They all do the same thing. They don't bother. When it's Rangers, they don't bother. And that's the truth. So that's the way I can see it. So forgive me for ranting and raving, but I am a rant and raver for tonight. But overall, we were fantastic. Dujon Sterling in there, did his business, and if he didn't get a penalty for that, that would have been a sin, a real sin. So he got the penalty, and I'm really happy.
Robert, it was a strange one, because everybody, I think, and everybody around the passage of play looked as if they thought that was a penalty. And the camera homed in the referee, and he's looking over his right hand side. I don't know if he's looking for the linesman to help him out, Robert, but he's looking at it straight on. It's quite bizarre.
Yeah, as you say, London, he is quite close to the action, and the angle he's got is probably the better one than what the linesman's got. He's probably looking for that assistance just to kind of see if there was a slight touch in the ball. But for me, you could tell in real play that it was a stonewall penalty. And I don't know if anybody else seen, there was a slight movement by the referee's left hand, like he was going to give it, and hesitated and looked at the linesman to see if he was going to award anything. And then that became the delay of, well, you're not giving it, so I'm not going to give it. And I think, as Bridge said, they don't want to give a penalty decision now because they're in the limelight far too often, in their opinion. But for me, they're in the frame light as such because they're not making these big decisions for themselves.
Aye. I mean, they've got to just basically have the courage of their convictions. If you know what I mean, Robert, they have to stand up and be counted here. But especially as VAR came to the rescue, that's what I do like about VAR. You know, it steps in and they're not always getting them right. I totally understand that. But as Bridge says, if we didn't have VAR, we would have walked out of there with a 1-0, you know, and that, you know, and there were 2 stonewalls. But anyway, Robert, Tav does what Tav does, to quote Martindale, and he steps up, and what a superb penalty, Robert.
Talk about a pressure penalty. And it's safe to say he has missed a few this season as well, so nerves would have been going through him as well as the supporters on the ground and those watching, that was going to be quite a decisive penalty. And it maybe when you look back on it the season and go, that was a turning point, really, because as you say, if he does miss it, it still remains 1-0, and you're biting your nails, you're on the edge of your seat, you're behind the couch, whatever, but that comfort, that 2-goal lead, it puts Johnson to bed, and they never really attempted anything after that, even if they did before it. So game is done.
And Robert, we made a few changes just round about that time. I think Dessers come on, and Lawrence come on for Cantwell. Young McCausland come on as well. So he started to freshen it up, and we started to create some more chances as well. Dessers, before we get the second penalty, Dessers actually had a chance himself to make it 3-0. And no having a go at him or anything, because it was a positive day, but he's running through in the goalkeeper, and he decides to take it round the goalie, Robert, when maybe the pitch didn't lend itself to that. And we're thinking, why does he not just tuck that away? I think he was disappointed, Robert, with that one, wasn't he?
Yeah, you could see his expression after it, kind of hitting the ground, and his facial expression. But again, it's a clinical finisher and a striker. There's 2 differences there, and as you say, they tried to take it round the goalkeeper, but the pitch probably didn't suit. He was probably still running at quite a bit of pace as well to try and get round the keeper, and it just wasn't on. Whereas if he just opens up his body and slots it with the right foot, it's in the back of the net. I just think sometimes he's trying a wee bit too hard to score that perfect looking goal of 1-on-1 with the keeper, took it round him and slotted into an empty net. Just put your foot through the ball or wrap your foot around it, and it's 3-0, and it's more goals in the table for a goal difference as well.
Yeah, Bridge, with that one with Dessers, and as I say, I'm not having a go at him, Bridge, but you just expect him to tuck that away, don't you?
Can I just emphasise, I'm going to have a go at him.
Well, go for it.
It's scandalous. Look, obviously, we're wanting the guy to score the goals, and we're supporting him 100%. But my God, he's in there as a centre forward, and what is he today? He's going to put the ball past the goalkeeper. Not just once he fails, or 3 times he failed, and he's only on the park 10 minutes. And it's just amazing. It makes you wonder what on earth's going through the chap's mind. I feel for him, you know, that there's no way he breaks through, he gets away from the defenders, and he's through on the goalkeeper, and he can't pass it, can't get it past him. So what can I say about it? We've lost a couple of centre forwards for doing the same thing. Couldn't get it past the goalkeeper. What can you say? Can't you say nothing other than moan, and I'm moaning.
But Bridge, he scored 14 goals this season, but he could easily have had double that, Bridge, couldn't he?
Well, he could have scored 3 yesterday for a start. I mean, he wasn't on long, and he could have scored 3 goals. And that's quite incredible, the chances that he creates for himself. Sometimes he gets good passes, but there's only times he makes it himself, or the ball breaks and he's there. And when you can make space for yourself, it's criminal not to be able to finish. That's all I'm saying. And he wants to hang his head for that alone. Other than that, the guy tries his hardest, and he's at 14 goals, as you say, for the season. You can't moan too much, because what's it, Tab's on? He's on about the same 14 goals for the season. And you can't just moan at him. You know, you can critique him or something like that, but you can't moan. He's putting his efforts in and scoring goals. I've tapped him up with another double yesterday, penalties admittedly, but my goodness gracious, who else is getting that from one player? It's tremendous.
I think he's got 19, Bridge, Tav, this season.
Tav, there you go, 19. Oh my 19. God, well, 19. There you go.
Robert, so there's Dessers is involved in the incident that leads to our second penalty. I think it was Tav that put the free kick in. Dessers managed to get his head to it. It wasn't an easy chance, I don't think, Robert, but it comes off the bar. There's a wee bit of a kind of a Bailey, and then it breaks to Lawrence and he has a great shot at goal. The guy turns his back, his arms out in an unnatural position, hits him bang on. The referee's looking at that as well, Robert, but I don't know, I'll maybe have a bit more sympathy with him for that one, but only slightly more sympathy, and it needs to go to VAR and they give the penalty. But did you expect him maybe to get that one in normal time, Robert?
Again, I'm probably going to go with yourself, Linda, and give him the benefit of the doubt because of the pace that the shot is hit by Lawrence and how quickly the boy turns and it hits him. And you can see it hit him on the hand in the replay, but that's when it's slowed down in real time. You can't ever see the angle the referee's got apart from behind a TV angle, but you don't know whether the referee's actually looking at the ball or the player jumping or what he actually sees. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but once you see the replay, but even before the VAR decision, you knew it was going to be a penalty. There was no way that wouldn't be given. You get taught as a schoolboy or a young boy playing football, never turn your back. You take one in the face, you take one in the stomach, whatever. Don't turn your back. And as you say, the hands are in natural positions. So again, another penalty, and Captain Tav does it again.
And Bridge, when Tav's taking that second penalty, you're thinking, is he going to go to the same side or is he going to change sides? And he went to the opposite side, Bridge, but it was such a beautiful strike that the goalie had no chance.
Well, the goalie went same side both times, you know, with Tav. Same side as the taker.
Yeah.
So Tav went to his left and the goalkeeper went to Tav's left. And the first one, it was to his right. So I thought the goalkeeper was unlucky. What a game he had. What a game. Super stuff, that goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was a fantastic penalty. And then I think there was just one more wee chance for Dessers, Robert, just before the final whistle, and he was through on the left-hand side and he kind of hesitated and then he hit it straight at the goalie. And as Bridge said earlier, Robert, he could have had a hat-trick.
Yeah, he could have, and he'll be kicking himself as well because he'll know that he should have put them away. Well, the second one with the header off the bar, that to me is just a bit unlucky. Excuse me. As you said, it's quite a hard angle to get the header back across goal and in there, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that that's unfortunate, but certainly at least two he could have had and should have had. And as Bridge said, he's got 14 goals, but you think the chances he's missed, he could have been in 20 plus for them, and that's a return you're wanting from your striker. So it's all right saying you're getting these chances, but you need to be putting them away.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think you know, from our perspective, Robert, as a fan base, we just get a wee bit concerned that if the game had been 0-0 and we were relying on him to maybe tuck one of them away, you know, it wouldn't have been. It would have been a different maybe discussion we were having, and we're just thinking as well that if it's a tight game and you only maybe get one or two chances, you know, there's still a wee bit of doubt on whether he'll be able to tuck one away, Robert. I think that's maybe what we've got some concerns about.
Yeah, it would be a fair assessment to say that, and then it's shown that the game against Betis, I always go back to that as this is what you can bring to the game. The goal against Hibs as well, they were two technically very good goals. But one-on-one, he just seems to lack a bit of that composure. But hopefully, once he gets one or two in from that kind of position, they'll start coming. I mean, he had a double against Ross County, so you expect him to go in full of confidence and maybe trying to get more goals to his game. But as I said earlier, he just maybe trying that wee bit too hard to kind of please the support and get that hoodoo off his back and score the perfect goal rather than just simply passing the ball in if it's there rather than taking it around the keeper. But he's got 14 goals, so he's contributed. And you also can't fault his effort when he's not scoring goals as well. He does work his corner very, very well, I must say.
So Bridge, it was a very professional performance, I thought, yesterday. It was all about getting the 3 points. I mean, after the events of Saturday, Bridge, it was really important for us to go and get that victory.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think we said it last week. For me, all I wanted was just to get 3 points. That's all I wanted. And I think 100% of all the Rangers fans would have just accepted the 3 points without too much ado. But to come away 3, could have been 6, could have been 7, you know, that kind of that happens in most Rangers games. A lot of chances get missed. But seriously, the victory was just all I wanted. I was running. I was running in the living room, shouting to the wife, "That's just scored! Another penalty, yeah!" And the cups just missed me.
Oh, superb. Superb. So we've given our thoughts in the game, and we're going to get the phone lines open. But let's hear from our manager, Philippe Clement.
Philippe, what did you make of that performance today?
That it was a really strong performance today, for sure in these circumstances. So it was not a surface where we can play our normal football, what we train every day, what the lads have shown last couple of weeks or months. So we had to adapt. But the team is ready for that now. We had a few practice games in that way, like Dumbarton, St Mirren, in really difficult circumstances, and they understand now we need to play a different kind of football. In those moments, if you have that kind of surface, and we did in a really good way today with a dominant performance, there was never a doubt in the game. I think we even didn't get one shot on target against. So scoring 3 goals could have been more. Yeah, it's really pleasing. Also, starting with 11 players, but all the guys who come in, they give something extra to the team. They give the extra energy. They give the extra quality in that moment, and you see the team growing. And extra points, new players coming in, getting more minutes, showing quality also. Dio was even man of the match today. Oscar was it last time, I think. So those are also really important things, and you see they're settling in really fast, because the dressing room is a really nice environment to come into, and all the boys are helping the new guys to settle in really fast. So that's also a really pleasing thing.
There's a lot of expectation in the team today, but you must be pleased with the way that they handle that, and they don't allow the external noise to sort of affect them.
Yeah, we're really busy with that, because it's of no use. We're just focused on ourselves, and we will continue in that way the next weeks and the next months. It's the only way to be successful, and the players understand really well.
You've set your players a series of challenges since you arrived. Obviously clawing into Celtic's league being one of them. You've done that now. Is the next step for this team, having got themselves to the top of the league, to obviously try and stay there now? Is that a different challenge? Does it present?
No, we're not looking at that. Our challenge is to be every week better, every month better. Not every game you can be better. That's impossible. But we try to do that, to develop as individuals, as a team, to become better, to adapt to circumstances, to get experience together. My best time as a player was in a team when we played 2 years, 3 years together, because you learn out of experiences, good ones, bad ones. You become better because you grow. And that's what we are doing as a team, to get experiences. Maybe if we wouldn't have had the Dumbarton game in the cup, it would have been more difficult today. So you learn out of every experience, and the guys are really, for the moment, like a sponge, getting all the information inside and doing the right things with it, what we ask. So that's a good way. So this is what I want. This is what I'm going to be really tough on also, that I want to see an ambitious team who wants to become better and better, and not looking at others, just at ourselves.
Is it for James today, the second of which took him on to 120 goals for this football club? It's a remarkable return for a right back.
It's crazy amount of goals. It's really crazy as a fullback. I don't know if there was ever a defender scoring more goals in Scotland or even in Europe. So he has a lot of qualities doing that, but not only with penalties, because he scored also important other goals, like in the cup final, for example, the League Cup. And he's doing a really good defensive job, because in the first place, he's a defender for me, not an attacking player. So he's not busy with statistics to play for himself, but he's playing for the team, like they all are doing.
In terms of his leadership qualities, what impresses you the most, the way he leads this team?
No, I'm happy with Tev. He was the first player I talked with. It's also the normal way. If you come into a building and you know the fire is going on, I wanted to see how to stop the fire as fast as possible. So I wanted to give all the information. It's normally you'd speak first with the captain about that, and he was really open and honest about all things in the club, in the dressing room, about himself also. So that was a really important step. And he feels good also there's a divided leadership in this dressing room with several players who take responsibility, but they have a really good connection together. So that's important also. If you're all alone, you can be alone in the desert. Now he has a few, how you say this, attendants? No. Lieutenants around him that help also and are also really influential. So it's important to have that as a coach.
Is it only the beginning for this team? Do you feel that just at the beginning of the curve?
No, yeah, okay. Beginning is maybe exaggerated, but for sure we can grow a lot. If I see how they are playing now, these last weeks and 4 months ago, we cannot speak about the beginning because that was the beginning, but there's still a lot of room for progression. It's clear they all are growing also these last couple of months without exception. So yeah, we're going to invest a lot with all staff in them, and they invest also a lot in themselves and in the group because every day everybody's super focused, hardworking. So I didn't have any problem with that in these 4 months. That's the first time in a team that I never had to smack somebody who's not focused anymore or not motivated. So no, it's a really important thing. But they all feel that they are in a special story and that it can be a really special story that you feel.
What will the goal do for Mohamed's confidence, and is that the position that you see him being best utilised?
No, I told you guys he can play in the 3 positions in midfield. We had a lot of talks with him about that. I want also to know players really well before they come into the building. So I want players who are available for the team, who don't only come to play their own game or their own position. And Dio can play the 3 positions in midfield without a problem. But it's good for him, of course, to feel directly really good in the team. But it's because of all the people around him also. It's about Connor and John speaking a lot and Lonnie speaking a lot with him. It's about players in front of him who are available to receive the passes. It's about the connection together. And he adapted really fast because the other guys are helping in that way. Really good.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Thanks for that, Fox. Robert, the manager, he's just something else, isn't he? The way he handles himself with the press, he's so focused. He just says the right things, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's very smart in his comments and the way he words it, and he's very professional. That's one word I've used since the day he came in. He was very professional, and he's got that aura about him that he just has a presence when he's handling the media. And I think they're starting to get to know how he handles them as well, and they're not asking these ridiculous questions as much as what they did at the start as well. So they're certainly getting used to the Philippe Clement that we know, and we kind of, in a sense, look at the way a manager, for me, should handle the media, how they handle like questions in terms of players' injuries or fitness, anything that's in-house, so that's not put out to the media. I like the way he does that, and he's very respectful of all the players as well, no matter what age they are or experience. So I do like the way he speaks about the club, and it's always my team, my players. He calls them like obviously first name basis as well, and he knows whose leaders there as well, and we recognise that in the pitch these days. And it's good to have that identity about us that we've missed prior to Clement, I feel.
Yeah, Robert was just talking about Diomande there, and he was talking about how he got man of the match. Was he man of the match for you, Dio? Did you think he played well yesterday?
I'd probably say yeah, Linda. Again, it was a pretty good team performance. I mean, it's hard to pick a player who didn't really play well, maybe apart from the obvious maybe Scott Wright substitution that we spoke about earlier, but I thought everybody can put that shift in again. It's a game where we dominated and it was more in the half of St Johnstone, so it's probably going to be a midfielder to the attacking line that got that. So no, I've got no issues with Diamonde getting it, and I think, as I said, he took his goal very, very well, and for a player who's just come in, very good for that to get under his belt, and he'll hopefully kick on from this now as well. As I said, he looked very sharp considering he hadn't played fully competitively since I think it was November, back at his last club.
Bridge, what about yourself? Who was the star men for you? How did you think the defence coped with? They didn't have much to do really, Bridge, did they?
No, they played very well. I thought the defence did very well. Look, we've got weaknesses in our defence. We're not stupid. We see it every week, you know. But we're happy when they don't, when we are, shall we say, no goals against us. It's really good. But they still put a wee bit of press on us, and it causes a problem, particularly teams that know have played against us, players from different clubs, and they come to that wee club there, and they've all done wee bits against Rangers. There's long throw-ins, you know, they get somebody that could take a long throw-in, always dangerous for Rangers. Corner kick, if they're taken all right, Rangers will panic and all the rest of it happens. But when we do it, it happens all the time. You end up slashing the ball out and getting them another corner and maybe another corner and so on before we manage to get the ball out and control it. But sometimes we get ourselves penned in and hemmed in. But other than that, seriously, that team never got a shot in goal. I mean, and we didn't get a shot in goal until literally till we scored, you know. When we get shots, they were miles past and so on and so forth. But the pitch was a great leveler, as I said. You don't get it, you get it all your own way. But we completely outplayed them. We're the best better team by a mile. And I dare say, I don't know for a fact, possession must have been way up. Way up, you know.
Robert, he's quite quick, the manager, to say that it's very much a squad performance. It's the players that start the game, but he always talks about the players that come on, and they've got a part to play and they bring energy, and his man management is that's going to be a big part of the Rangers job, because you can't keep everybody happy with starting berths all the time, Robert, so you have got to manage everybody well, haven't you?
You do, and as you said, they made that many changes yesterday that you could see the reason for it, because we are going to have a lot of games coming up between now and the split, and also the Europa League draw, I think, so on Friday as well, so we'll know who our opponents are then, so that'll be another midweek card. We've got a game Thursday, Sunday, so a lot of games that are coming up, and he's obviously looking at the players who aren't maybe getting minutes, but giving them the belief that they have the ability, he has the confidence in them. He'll put them into games when they can get the minutes in the legs, and again, there'll be a game that they may be asked to start the game and need to be prepared for that. And I don't think any supporter right now has got any doubt about the squad depth we've got and the quality that we've got on the bench these days. It's certainly a pleasing thing to see that when a player comes off like Todd Cantwell's ability, that you can bring on like a Tom Lawrence, or you can bring on a Ross McCausland, a young talent as well. So he's got belief in the squad, and I think the players have seen that as well. They've got confidence in each other, and the harmonies there again that we didn't have when he first came in.
Bridge, he always takes the time to speak to the players as they come off the pitch, doesn't he? I mean, an example of that yesterday was when Todd Cantwell got subbed. I think it was just after an hour he brought Cantwell off. I don't know if you noticed, Bridge, Cantwell took a really bad challenge in the first half, and he actually, I think when he went off, he was sitting with a pack of ice on his leg. But I think obviously he still thought he would have been able to maybe play on Bridge. But the manager's always explaining to them and talking to them when they come off the pitch.
Cantwell took a really, really bad one. It was a shocking tackle. That could easily have been a red card for me. Easily. It's just wrong. Referees aren't, shall we say, because it's Rangers that are on the receiving end of these tackles. It doesn't matter. They'll let it go. That's the kind of thing that drives me mad. By the way, they put Cantwell down and they run up the park, or they get up the park, and before you know it, a Rangers player's touched a St Johnstone player, and he's dived down the ground, and there you go. Was he no booked? I think it was one of your players booked for it. You go, what is that about? Just up there and you know, there's just absolutely no fairness. It's just obvious the cheatiness, you know. Anyway, apart from that, I thought Cantwell played well. That was a really bad sore one. And we miss him, you know, when he goes off. He's got a lot of pace, a lot of trickery about him, you know, and he wants to make things happen. He wants to be there. A super player for us, in my opinion. I don't know how long he's going to last. That's another Rangers player potentially put out the game for a wee while. That's the gospel truth. And the list goes on and on and on. You know, still got Danilo there. He can't head the ball yet. You know, it's just dreadful. And that guy never even got a book for it. You know, never even spoken to. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm raving again.
It's okay. This is a happy show tonight as well, Bridge.
I'm very happy. I can't. I'm still dancing on the ceiling type of thing, you know.
No, you're quite right, Bridge. Even though we won, we've still got to call these things out. Robert, Cantwell does take a few hefty challenges, doesn't he, in these games?
He does, but it's because the opponents know the threat he can bring. That he's a creative player in that middle of the park, and the 10th position, where for me it's his best position, in that kind of pocket that you can just drop deep to collect the ball or be high and support the defenders, the striker, in between the defenders. But I think yesterday we saw a bit more of what we've missed from Cantwell. I know we've seen it in past few performances as well, where he was maybe getting the ball far too deep. We wanted to see him higher, and again he seemed to be a more attacking positions yesterday, and that's why he is a threat to the opponents, and that's why the crunching tackles come in. But as Bridge says, it doesn't get a lot of protection at times as well. I think the boy did actually get booked for the challenge yesterday, but there's been multiple games before where it's not went with a card or a talking to or anything. He does seem to be a player that attracts the opposition in and draws fouls, which at times can be handy for us in certain areas of the park.
Yeah, we've never been the best in Scotland at protecting the good football players. I think that's just been part and parcel of playing up here. So, well, come and join us. It would be nice to get some people to call in. Tell us how you're feeling. Is everyone happy? Is there more pressure on us now we're top of the league? They seem to want to talk about this to our manager quite a lot, but he keeps batting away the question. So give us a call on 0141 356 1972. Come in and join us. Bridge, just talking about us being top of the league now, our manager is just not entering into any talks about it at all, isn't he not, Bridge? Any questions about league positions, what lies ahead? He's just totally focused, like yourself, Bridge, one game at a time.
100%, and well, I believe that's the way it should be always. The manager, he shouldn't. Look, and when he's speaking to his own backroom staff and that are running the club, it'll be a different Philippe Clement, and they'll be doing what good managers do, and getting involved with looking forward and what happens when and so on and so forth. But when he's running the club and he's doing the business with a team, that's you're interested in what's happening next week. It's interesting what happened this week. And no, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me about the league position. League position doesn't mean anything. We're here, and we've got to get to the end of the season, and we play every game until we get there. And every game will be treated in its own right as and when it happens. And I just love that. I just love it. It's so simplistic. It's not real. But do you think he's sitting there? He's going to. What do you think, boys? Do you think if we go one clear, we'll be all right? I don't know if he spoke to him a bit like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. To be honest, he's just said to the press, no matter what happens, I just want them to score as many goals as they can. If they can score a lot of goals, they'll do for me.
I mean, Robert, after we got that, you know, the bonus on Saturday, because let's face it, we can only look after ourselves until we play the Old Firm games. You know, we can't affect anything, but there has been times in the past where we've maybe had an opportunity, Robert, and we've not taken it. But it felt a bit different yesterday. I don't know if you felt calm yourself or whether you were nervous. But certainly, I don't know, there just seems to be a different feeling about this group of players now, Robert.
I think personally I'd put that down to the players having belief. Again, Linda, they've got belief in themselves, and they're getting the belief from the fans in the stands that we can go and do this. And it was a big talking point of, is this squad capable enough? And I think what we've seen so far with Clement, he's only lost one game. I've got no doubt that we have got enough in the tank to go and win this league. But the two big things for me now going forward, as much as getting the points and results, psychologically and momentum, they're two massive factors going forward now. We have been the ones chasing, now we've got to be the ones protecting the lead. So the pendulum swings in terms of the psychological boost. But again, we play on Saturday, we've got the chance to go 5 points clear before they kick a ball on the Sunday. So again, it comes down to the next game is important as our last 26, but there's 12 big massive games to go into that end of the season, Linda.
Yeah, definitely, Robert. The momentum's with us and we need to take advantage. Anyway, I think we've been joined with Big Stevie. Are you in, Stevie?
Hello, the Tims, you know. We're top of the league and you know. Come on, the Teddy Bears. Yeah. Come on, the Teddies. What I can't believe some of the carry on, some of the negativity, man. Come on, top of the league. Took us a while to get there. We're at the summit, man. Brilliant. We're playing as individuals, individual battles. We're playing as a team. The crowd are got. What about that crowd on Saturday there, Sunday? Sorry, singing the whole game, singing 90 minutes, man. I had to gargle salt water when I get home. Myra Hinley could even make me out. Honestly, it was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Hello, the Tims, you know. We're top of the league, and you know. Listen, Diamante, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Scored the goal with his right foot. I don't know if any of you noticed.
Yeah.
Scored the goal with his right foot. What my man of the match. He was my man of the match. I don't know who your man of the matches were or anything like that, but just let me tell you, man, they've been papered their cracks in a wee while and they're starting to show it now. We just keep, Big Phil keeps the troops his feet in the ground. We just keep doing what we're doing and eat away and eat away. This league could be done well before it's time. So come on, the Rangers, come on, the Teddies, go to the station and give a loudy. Hello, the Tims, you know. We're top of the league, and you know. Bye-bye, Paro, have a nice night. We are the people.
Bye, Stevie. Go on yourself.
What a man.
A maniac.
I was just about to ask him to give us a rendition of Philippe Clement's Barnby Army. Oh, what a guy. Oh, Bridge, he's right. The crowd was fantastic. Seeing some of the wee videos doing the rounds, Bridge, from some of the fans that were there, and the two ends were full and half of one of the sides as well, Bridge. It was fantastic to see all the Bears, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, I have to take my hat off to St Johnstone. They're no stupid. I think they realised that sometime last season they were stuck in money, and they're taking the opportunity. Give the tickets to Rangers. I don't know if they do the same with Celtic. I know probably they do, but the Rangers fans will just snap them all up, see the Bears, and they were fabulous. They sung non-stop, just non-stop. It was just absolutely fabulous. It's just look like being at Ibrox in a smaller way, you know. It's just fabulous. What a show of loonies, but they're all mental, you know. Like Big Stevie there, you know, grown man acting like that. I mean, what grown man actually? Well, I do as well. So it's just fabulous. I really love it. And well done to the Rangers fans. I said it earlier tonight. I'll say it again. No matter where you are, Rangers fans are Rangers fans, and that's all there is to it. We are the people.
The manager, Robert, was asked about Tav, about our captain, and he was asked about the number of goals that he scored. It was obviously his 120th goal for Rangers. He's got 8 goals for his previous clubs as well. I'm not sure exactly who he scored them for. So I read today, Robert, that he's 2 away from being the highest scoring British defender of all time. a guy called Graham Alexander, funnily enough, he's got 130. So Tav is just 2 goals away from equaling that record. Quite something, Robert, eh?
Scored a lot of goals, Graham Alexander. A lot of penalties. Scored a lot of penalties. Sorry, Paul. Sorry.
No, you're right, Bridge. No, he has, London. I know there's been a lot of people criticising Tav's like defending and things, but let's be honest. You wonder where we would be at times if we didn't have the contribution that he's brought to our club. 127 goals he's got for Rangers. 120 goals, 127 assists.
Yeah,
it's remarkable, and I think he's equalled John Gregg's record, and he's 1 away from being the top scoring Rangers defender. Would that be right?
Yeah, I think you're right, Robert. Yep.
So that's remarkable, and you have to take your hat off to him. And he has come in for a lot of stick, as a lot of players have over the years, but he's always been there. He's been a captain. He's got us to cup finals and European campaigns, and he's stepped up in big games. Dortmund, you think back to the games, Leipzig to kick it off. It's just been when you needed somebody to stand up and be counted. Tav's been there, and I know you have people criticising the defending, but you cannot take away what he has brought to the club in terms of attacking, goals, assists. I mean, in 2 games, he's got 5 goal involvements, 3 assists against Ross County, and 2 goals against St Johnstone. You've got to take your hats off to him.
Yeah, Bridge, it's some achievement from Tav, isn't it? And I know in the past there's been mistakes, Bridge, but so there's been a lot of players that have made mistakes. You look at defending across the whole of, even in Europe when you watch football, defenders make mistakes. But Tav's contribution, I don't think it can be underestimated how important he is to the team, Bridge.
Well, I can tell you, in all honesty, when I was playing, I made an awful lot of mistakes. I missed an awful lot of ankles.
Surely not.
But no, seriously, I'm one of Tav's biggest fans on one hand, and I'm also one of his biggest critics on the other. You know, because you've probably seen it yourself over maybe even the last month. His crossing on the run hasn't been that great, and then. And that one game he's poor, the next game he comes in and he lays on 2, you know. So he gets assists for 2 goals and does nothing else the whole game. That kind of, and I love it. I just love everything about the guy is tremendous. I just don't like it when he loses the ball. Like, bad passing or bad crossing, that's fine. But when you lose the ball, you give it away stupidly. He actually falls into that category sometimes. I don't care. We're top of the league, and Tavernier's our captain and top goal scorer. That's what I'll do for me, all the way to Tavernier.
Robert, his goals have obviously been vitally important to his, not just so far this season, but in the time that he's been here. But you see that going forward, that other players are going to have to step up. And obviously Diomande got a goal, and let's hope he's got that in his locker. We've mentioned Dessers. You would like maybe Cortez, Robert, to maybe go off the mark and get a couple of goals soon, just in case he's got to chip in as well. And Suter obviously get his goal midweek. So I know we don't have this clinical number 9 that we desperately wanted, but certainly we're going to have to see the goals maybe shared across the team, Robert.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, London. You look at your attacking players, obviously. First of all, you look at your Cortezes, your McCauslins, your Cantwells, your Lawrences to kind of chip in with the goals. But as you said, Lundstrom can hit a ball from out the edge of the box. Diomande can hit one from the edge of the box. And that's something we've probably lacked as well. We've not had somebody who's willing to take a shot on outside the area and try and test the goalkeeper. We've seen against Aberdeen that the keeper makes a save, it falls to Cantwell for a tap in, he's there. So if you don't get the goal yourself, you're maybe setting somebody up. So these players certainly can contribute. And I think last week Clement actually picked up about working on set pieces. We've got a lot of big aerial threat defenders that can win the ball from attacking corners, your Golsons, your Balligans, your Shooters, as you say. So if they can add goals as well from set pieces, then it is a whole team effort. But as Bridgeman says, a 1-0 gets you 3 points. So if you're winning 1-0 from now to the end of the season, we're winning a league title.
Bridge, would you like to see the central defenders chipping in with some more goals? I mean, Suter's Suter's the only one out of the kind of 4 we've been using, Bridge, that's scored a goal this season.
Yeah, I think the other guys are a wee bit off it. And it was only last season they were putting the ball in the net, with regularity. Even Balogun's been up there and trying to do it, But maybe there's the different regime is demanding a bit more from their defence, or indeed maybe themselves are saying, I don't have the legs to get back there, so I better make sure I'm okay. And that kind of takes a wee bit of shine off their attacking prowess, because they were really, really good. Their centre halves, no matter what it was, they could always got there and were always dangerous in the box with headers and things like that, So, but they're not so dangerous now from corners and free kicks, unfortunately. But I look forward to it. I always look forward to it, that.
Robert, do you see him sticking with the same 2 centre-backs in the upcoming games? We've obviously Goldson and Suter playing just now because Balogun got the injury, and Davies, we're never really sure about him. I think he's injury-free, but he's obviously maybe not up to match fitness. I think they both played, Balogun and Davies both played for the Rangers B team today against Carlisle, as did a few other the first team squad members, just to get them some game time, Robert.
Yeah, I did see that. I think obviously Balogun's adjusting to playing with the mask, isn't he? So that'll take some time for him to do it. But we know that if he's called upon, he'll come in and do a job next to Connor Goldson there. So, but I think based on what's happened the past 2 games, I think he will stick with Goldson and Suter. And although we'd like to see Suter playing naturally on the right-hand side, we know he can do it on the left, and I don't think he's done anything at all to warrant him being dropped at this minute in time. Especially the Hibs and St Mirren games. I think he was won every aerial duel that he had, and his tackles, I think, was one of the highest in the pitch as well. So we know how Suter's qualities that he can bring, and I think as well against Hearts, he might fancy it even more than it was any other opponent.
playing against his old club. Robert, young Raskin, he's got a job in his hands getting back into that team, isn't he? I mean, he's hardly getting a kick of the ball at all just now. It's quite a competitive area, the pitch for us.
Yeah, and it seems strange to say that, considering a few weeks ago, pre-transfer window, that we were saying we were very light in there because we were having to put John Sterling in there, who was a makeshift midfielder. Turned out to be a gem, but that's probably an area you thought we were very light because you had Dowell injured, Lawrence was injured, Ryan Jack was injured, so it is a bit of a battle now for him to get back into the squad. But he was another one involved in the B team game today, so minutes in his legs, again after his injury as well recently. But what's interesting for me for Raskin is, I don't know if you've seen, but for the Belgium under 21s, he plays more as an attacking midfielder than a kind of sitting holding player. And I don't know if Clement would maybe try and get him involved in that position further up the park, because he does it for the Belgium team as well. So it would be interesting to see, but certainly food for thought, but a positive food for thought, and not struggling of who's going to fit in there. And I don't think for a minute anyone who has played struggle, because we've got a really good depth and quality of squad just now in that central area.
Yeah, a lot of competition, Bridge, in the midfield now, isn't there?
Yeah, good healthy competition, I have to say. And the guys are responding, and no matter what the perils and what happens comes up, what kind of mistakes of defence make, where all the midfielders are picking it up and they're doing the business. Like that goal that our boy scored, peach. That is the whole thing about it. It's just an absolute peach. And we've been looking for somebody that would do that. And Ryan Jack used to do that in the midfield. He used to score a lot of good goals for us. Not millions, but he used to score a lot of good goals in midfield. How can we say it? This young lad, he may be able to actually do that regularity. And that's what you're looking for from a midfielder. And Tom Lawrence isn't that great, but I dare say he's got a great shot in him, so he will be a good goal scorer if he's get his eye in. But it's got to happen. But that lad scored that goal. My goodness gracious, come out of nothing for him. Superb, brilliant. I'm looking forward to seeing him and others in midfield scoring goals. And I think Cantwell scored some absolutely superb goals for us. They were running in on the ball, just running in to meet it and smash it, and that's what we're looking for. looking for the guys to smash it. No, don't just try to tap it and smash it, you know. That's me anyway.
So we're heading towards the tune, but it would be nice to get some callers in. Come in and give us some of your chat. So let's hear the tune.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Thanks for that, Fox. You back, Robert? Robert,
Yep,
Bridgman? Yep.
Yeah, I'm
stuff.
here. Sorry, I was doing a bridge, yeah.
That's okay. We'll just, Bridge will be back in a wee minute. Robert, we just talk about the manager's record since he came in. We played 26 games played. We've won 22, drawn 3 and lost 1. 59 goals for and 14 against. When he came through the door, we were thinking he need to be some sort of miracle man. I think, Robert, he says he wasn't Harry Potter, and we all had a wee chuckle at that. But it's been a remarkable job that he's done. I know there's a long way to go and we need to keep focused, but what a manager he's been for us.
Oh, it certainly is. And you've only lost one game. I know the game that he lost, it's obviously a big one in terms of our season, but ultimately, as it stands right now, it doesn't make a difference to the table. We're still top by those 2 points. The draws he'll see as losses personally, I think, because he didn't get the full 3 points. He wants to win everything. That's his mentality. And I think that's the way that the manager should be, put that belief that in the players and in the support that he's got in the players, and that we can go and do something special this season. And when he first came in, there was thousands of us, even some of us on here, were thinking that it was over. There was no coming back. These players were all not good enough. There was no way we would get a tune out of them. And he's certainly surprised us. When I looked into him, I seen that he also made a big impact at his first club at Genk. But again, it's a different calibre of players dealing with here up in Scotland. And when you're at Rangers, the pressure. But he's handled everything remarkably well. And you see the passion he's getting now, especially when Tav put that penalty away at the weekend. You see the passion there. You've seen the passion at Hampden when we won the cup. He's starting to feel the buzz. And I know he says it's one game at a time, but you can certainly see he's getting really excited and really confident going forward. And as long as this continues, Linda, I don't see us dropping any, if many, points towards now in the end of the season. A lot of games, of course, as you say, and obviously Europe will be a big factor in that as well, balancing the squad between the European games and the domestic games. But everybody's contributing, and if they haven't yet, they soon will. They'll get their chance, and they have to be ready. And I think he'll have them ready.
I mean, in that presser, Robert, when he was part of it, he talked about when he was talking about Tav. That's what it was. And he said that he was one of the first players that he spoke to. It would be natural, he's the captain. He talked about how, I think the analogy he used, that it was a fire was going on and he had to find a way of putting that out. And he quickly spoke about the synergy between the fans and the players, and he saw it as a major thing to try and get back, because he saw it as a plus point. He wanted the stadium to be buzzing. He wanted the fans to get the fans back on side. And he's been really consistent in that message, hasn't he? It was one of the things that he wanted to try and fix. But Robert, when you start to win games of football and you start to play some good football, that just comes naturally, because we will get behind the team in those circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. But the fans and ourselves included are paying the money to go and watch the team you want to see. Good quality football, good quality surfaces. Bridgeman will pick up on, and you're wanting to see your team play the best that they can. And if they do that, if they deliver on the pitch, you're going to get the excitement, you're going to get the buzz, the belief, and the confidence, and that's reciprocated back to the players in the park when we're in the stands singing for 90 minutes like Big Stevie. That's what you're wanting. That's the days. And some players themselves have even said it before. Butland in particular, they always ask players after games about the fan support and things, but Butland in particular has always said this season already, in his short spell here, that the fans have spurred them on at times to get really behind them, especially at home. But away from home, you can't fault the fans' effort. And I think, as you said, when it comes naturally by winning the points and the performances are there, that's what the fans want. So it's certainly getting sent back over, and it's coming across both ways right now.
Bridge, the fans were absolutely terrific at St Johnstone. All the wee videos kicking about, as I said earlier, the singing, the atmosphere was just amazing. And if you think about it, Bridge, when we won our 55th title, we weren't in the stadium. And in the 2 seasons that followed that, we weren't really in a proper title race at this stage, Bridge. Yes, there was still a chance that we could have done something, but this is a position that we've not been in for a number of years. And the atmosphere is going to be brilliant going forward, Bridge, isn't it? And we've got our part to play, and I'm sure that the Rangers fans will step up, no problem.
Oh, I'm convinced of it. I mean, yes, the fans' performance was absolutely outstanding. They drove the team on. They absolutely drove that team on. It was just fantastic to listen to, and I've got nothing but admiration for them. Much as I'm the one who doesn't want to go to away games. I don't want my fans to go there and give them money. That's all. But when they're there, they give their all, and it's absolutely tremendous. Great for the team, great for morale. And our manager is, say about him, he looks after himself, he looks after the team, he looks after the club. And to do them all in that, I don't know, 2 months or 3 months he's been there, whatever it is, it's just unbelievable. He's had all the pressure in the world, all the pressure that could come on top of Rangers, he's just swallowing it up. And I think it's nothing short of wonderful for us. Wonderful. And I just hope it goes on and he stays with us and keeps us going right to the end of this season. Let's see what happens. He's serious. What a manager, isn't it? At the present moment, what a manager. And he's adored. The fans adore him. And that's the main thing. The fans are going to like him. The fans don't like him. Look what happened to Mr. Beale. He didn't want to do it with Rangers. Rangers fans got, shall we say, tried to get rid of him and did. And he was doing it with Sunderland and our really, shall we say, fervent fan club, down there. And they don't like him. So he's gone. I can't say any more than that. It's just Mr. Clement, what a player, what a manager, rather. What a manager, fabulous. Great for the Rangers.
Robert, you mentioned the Europa League, and obviously we'll find out at the end of the week who we get drawn with in the last 16. We're obviously seeded. I think that means that we'll be playing away from home first. It's going to be a tough game, whatever you get, and we'll deal with that in due course. But do you see it in any way, shape or form being a distraction, Robert? Because I've seen a few fans say things like that recently.
Personally, no. When you've got this momentum, you want to keep it going. So the quicker the games come round, the better, in my opinion. And the mentality that, as I said, Clermont's got of winning everything, and the mentality the players have now, I don't think we should see it as a distraction. We should see it as a challenge, but one that we can have hope and optimism about. Getting in against let's be honest, there's quite a few big teams in that Europa League this season that have come out for the Champions League. There's ones that didn't qualify for the Champions League and they're in there as well. So when you get to this round, last 16, you're there on merit. So I don't think it's a distraction. I think it is just more keeping ticking over. But certainly it comes down to the squad you've got. And if we can keep the injuries down to a minimum and players come back fitness and we can rotate and have still the quality on the park, then the manager will certainly do that. I don't think it'll be a distraction, personally.
Bridge, what's your thoughts? Do you think it's a distraction, the Europa League, or do you think it's a good thing that we're still involved?
Well, I think it's a fantastic thing. My honest opinion, fantastic thing. And we seem to have thrived. If you think about how much we played this season, yet in Europe we didn't look as if we were going to do anything. All of a sudden it turned for us and we're there. And just wonderful to get through. And there we're in a position we're top of the group stage, and we end up no playing the whatever challenge match it was first of all, straight into the last 16. It's just utterly incredible. It's bamboozling. Sometimes my mind can't take it all, and I just love it. I love everything about the European area. I just love it. I love watching the Rangers in Europe. I've been watching them doing it for years and years and years. And some not so good. But my goodness, lately it's been brilliant, and long may it last. Long may it last.
Well, come and join us, folks. Remember, it's a call-in show. We would love to hear from you. Give us your thoughts. Are you all happy? Is anybody nervous? Because there's going to be some big games coming up. So give us a call. The number's 0141 356 1972. It would be nice to hear from somebody, Robert, wouldn't it? Get some beers in.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's been a great weekend. We're top of the table, somewhere we've not been in a long time. So there's a lot of positivity about the club and the support just now. So come, give us your thoughts and how you see us handling the pressure now that we are the ones leading the pack and not leading the chase.
I'll put that question to you, Robert. How do you think we'll handle it?
Absolutely fine. And again, it comes down to that mentality and the way the confidence is in the squad just now, and that synergy, as we've just discussed it. Everything that Clermont has addressed and wanted to have as a factor in going forward, it's all been met. And once we've got that position, I don't think we're going to lose it now. I mean, I know there's a lot of games to go and a lot of points at stake still, but ultimately, the way we've been playing, momentum and confidence is with us. Stevie said it earlier on, they've got cracks showing left, right and centre across the city. We have just got the belief, the optimism. It's just something's clicking, and it's a feeling that probably hasn't been there since 55, Linda. So it's certainly a great place to be, and I think we'll handle it absolutely fine, just based on those factors that Clermont's implemented since day one.
Bridge, we've been through a lot of title races. As I said earlier, we've not really been through one since 2010-11 when you think about it, because 55 we were miles ahead, and in the last couple of years we've fallen away. Even under Stevie G, Bridge, we stayed into sort of the Christmas break, and then we fell away after that. But it's certainly hotting up to be a title race, Bridge, and you've just got to keep your nerve, haven't you?
Well, I think if you watch Clermont when they stand on the sidelines, he's nearly always nipping the fourth officials in pain, you know. So he's either building a great friendship and great relationships with them, or he's absolutely nipping their head. And they're not going to make enemies of him, but at least they're going to hear his voice and hears what he says and hear what he says and probably agree with him a lot of the time. But it's tremendous that you do it. He does that, but he doesn't talk to. He's not the greatest speaker to the press, as you know. He can handle himself, absolutely no problem, but he doesn't necessarily like it. He's got to go and do it and get them over and done with, because they're always trying to trip people up, as you know, tickle the Rangers men. Because we got a story about Rangers. Well, the story about Rangers is, come on, there's Rangers. Go and talk to him and he'll divulge everything. Aye, right. So seriously, that's what he's turned out to be. He is Rangers at the moment, and it's just wonderful. He's got a brilliant relationship with the players, and they all seem to want to be able to play in his team, and that's great. Yes, I think was it seven changes again at the weekend there. Just unbelievable stuff, you know. Well, it works. So when he finds out who his best team is, my God, we're going to have to be a fantastic team, in my opinion. Brilliant. I love it.
Robert, do you see him still continuing with the rotation and managing players? Because obviously he's had to try and build up the 3 new guys that he signed in January because they hadn't played an awful lot of games, and then you've got players coming back from injury. So do you see the sort of relative squad rotation continuing in the immediate future?
To an extent, yeah, for certain players in certain positions, I think. Again, as you said, it's about managing the minutes, and players who haven't played or are returning from injury. So, obviously, I think until the European games come around, I think that's when the rotation might lessen a little bit, and we'll kind of rotate in the leagues and the cup games. And then once Europe comes, you may see less changes, just so he's got that solid base. But for me, it'll be certain positions, and it might not be far off of what we've seen at St Johnstone at the weekend. Maybe the one defender change and maybe 2 or 3 in attack, just for fresh legs.
Yeah, Bridge, it's quite difficult, Bridge, to try and sort of find people minutes when it comes to really the big games going forward, Bridge. And obviously you can't run players into the ground, but it's going to be quite difficult to try and get yourself up to speed when you think about some of the the opposition that we're going to be coming up against, Bridge.
Yeah, and you have to take a hat off to the manager once again. He's got the players guessing.
Sorry, Bridge, I'll just cut across you there.
I
think we've been joined by a call. We've been joined by Albert.
Albert, yes, aye.
How you doing, Albert? What's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that, like yesterday, this is just a comparison to Bill as well. See, when we go away, sometimes we can have that wee bit of a shaky start. But see, the way Clement has come in, he's not just working on one thing. He's seen what's wrong and he's changing it straight away, which I think is great. You know what I mean? The way we have been now is we're so dynamic. I just feel like it. I just feel as if he could put anybody on and they're going to play for him. That's just my point now.
Albert, who do you think has kind of stepped up the most then? We've had this conversation before, but
Lundstrom.
Yeah.
Aye, because you got to remember, see, under Beale, Lundstrom kind of fell away, did he not? Am I saying, as I think, did he not buy him? Kind of under, with Gerrard when he was bought? Is he one of these players?
I think you're right. I think it was the summer just before Gerrard left. I think that they brought Lundstrom in. I think Albert might be wrong on that, but I think he was brought under Gerrard and Beale.
And he kind of fell away under him. And it's just that this guy's got a totally different. You know what I mean? He just totally looks like a different player now. Do you know what I mean? He does. I knew it was in him. Do you know what I mean? You could see it in him. Do you know what I mean? Now you could see it in him. But he's turning, and Cantwell was totally come on him as well. Do you know what I mean? Because when he came in, Cantwell was brilliant. He was playing. He was really good. But then he kind of fell away as well. But he's come on leaps and bounds, and he's like a fundamental player for us now, I think.
We've also been joined by Bob Jer. Good evening, Bob Jer.
Good evening, Linda. How are we doing?
We're good.
I'm all right, love. I'm sitting here comfortably, so I'll begin.
Yes, give us your thoughts. Are you a happy chappy?
Am I a handsome chappy?
Well,
No,
happy
no,
and
no.
handsome.
No, I maybe sound it, but I can assure you I'm not Linda. If you know what in bar with burglars, what the fuck you mean inside of your house? You're all right.
Are you a happy chappy? I said.
Oh, did you say happy? I thought you said handsome. I am a happy chappy. I'm always a happy chappy. I support Glasgow Rangers. What like I said, we've done fantastic. We've done great. We've done wonderful. But this is where it begins, Bears and Bearettes. This is where it gets tough now. We've got to be able to stand up and stay at the top of that league. Plus the Europe draws on Friday. And there's some mean machines in there along with us. But we'll take it as it comes, And this is where the season gets really interesting. And the league, yes, I definitely think we can win it. I was impressed with the Rangers yesterday on a ploughed field. I've seen the day Rangers wouldn't have won that game. Seen the day Rangers wouldn't have won that game, but they won it convincingly. If what Mr. Levine's making his bump his gums about doubtful decisions at penalties is beyond me, I don't know. I'm quite sure that not one of you Rangers fans considered one of the penalties doubtful. The first Channy about half the laddie in two.
Well, we didn't know about the second one, did we? We didn't know about the second one for about 5 minutes, did you?
Yeah. Albert, I'll bring you back in, Albert. I'll just let Bob Jer finish. Bob Jer.
That's all right. The second one, the laddie stuck his arm out with the full intention of stopping the ball. I think he was so frustrated it got the better of him and he stuck his arm out. And two definite penalties. Every time Rangers got a penalty, there was a hullabaloo. There were two stone wallers yesterday. Well, that's biased now. It's onward to tackling Hearts on Saturday, one game at a time. And I'll do a Bridgeman on Saturday. I'll take 1-0.
Yeah,
No, we're in a good place. Let's keep ourselves in a good place. Europe, that's a different ball game. We'll tackle that when it comes. But let's keep winning these league games, and we can. We've got the squad to do it, and we can win the majority of these league games that are left and go on to win the championship. I'm confident of that. I'm sure you all agree.
Yeah, well said, Bob Jer, well said. We've also been joined by Robert. Good evening, Robert.
Good evening, Linda. Lovely Linda, Bridgeman, young Robert, as Albert, and the legend is Bob here.
Yeah. Well, I know
good evening, Robert.
You're always lovely. you are Rangers Radio. We'll not say anything else, and don't tell Oxford I said that. But you are Rangers Radio, Bridgeman.
How are you, Robert? Are you happy?
Oh, Linda, I'm delighted. I just want to come and give a wee bit of support to Rangers Radio because I know it's been a wee bit quiet tonight. Listen, Linda, obviously we're delighted with the result yesterday on that heavy pitch. Although I said on the programme yesterday, I'm not making excuses about the pitch. It's just the way I am. But what I'd like to say tonight, now, we've got a free week this week. There's no midweek games or anything. We've got a free week, so Big Phil's got all the squad. And hopefully any niggly injuries, we can get rid of them. Know what I want to see from you on that we're top of the league. We need to put the fit right down on it. And seeing Saturday, I want us to play our strongest team that's available. And after that, I want to see us playing the same team on Wednesday. I don't want this 5 and 6 changes every single game because I don't think for unity that does us any favours. I think, see if somebody's playing really well, why would you drop them the next game? And understand the squad rotation and the managers worrying about injuries and stuff like that and try to, protect players and all that. I understand all that. And Big Phil's not get anything wrong, so we can't really call them out in any way, right? But I want to see going forward, especially the next 2 games, Linda, 2 tough games, Hearts at Ibrox and Kilmarnock away in that horrible pitch. I want to see in the 2 games our strongest team possible in the 2 games.
Albert, what's your thoughts on what Robert said?
My thoughts on that is right. I understand where you're coming from, But I think he's using this squad rotation because, let's be honest, the guy's no done a thing wrong, as he was saying there. Do you know what I mean? I'll let him do his squad rotation, especially because we've got a lot of games coming up. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if we should have like that solid team. I think we should have a solid back four in the midfield and the wingers and that. But I think with strikers we should rotate them. That is the way. That is my thoughts anyway.
Bob, Jer, your thoughts?
I would agree with what Robert says there. If I had Robert's passion, we would win the Champions League every year. I love his passion for the club. Always have. I thoroughly agree with what he says. Yeah, I was quite surprised at the changes yesterday, but the man knows what he's doing, and it worked out. It worked out great. So, yeah, I mean, we'll leave Philippe Clement to his own device, obviously. But, yes, I would put out my strongest team in the next 2 games. I would, definitely.
Robert W., I suppose when you think about it, we've got, as you say, Hearts at home, and then we've got Killie away. I hate to mention that plastic pitch, Robert Weatherall, but it always seems to play a factor. And some of our guys maybe just aren't, set up to play in that pitch, Robert. So there's a possibility that he might play a certain team for that. But I kind of agree with you, Robert. I think we've got to play our strongest team, particularly the next 2 games.
Yeah, and especially on that plastic pitch, right? I mean, guys like Oscar Cortez, right, and the wee boy Diamante, who I thought he was outstanding yesterday. And I've spoke to a couple of my friends and they didn't agree with me. I thought Diamante was brilliant. I thought Todd Cantwell was brilliant, especially the first half. So I understand going down to that plastic pitch, you might not want to play like, say, Cortez or Diamante, because let's be honest, these boys have came for leagues that I'm not used to playing in horrible pitches yesterday, and especially that plastic pitch. But I just feel now it's the time in the season before we get into that European game and that. These next 2 games are crucial. These are 2, as Bridgman says, this is the 2 biggest games of your season coming up on Saturday and next Wednesday. And it really is. If you really think about it, this is the biggest 2 league games of your season, because we're not playing against the bottom 6 like St Johnstone and like, say, Ross County anymore. We're playing against a Kilmarnock and a Hearts. A Hearts have only lost 1 game in 12. Do you know what I mean? So now we have to play our strongest team available to us and go for these 2 games. The rest of the games will take care of themselves. And that's all I'm saying. Play our best players, our strongest team, and let's go for it.
Young Robert, thoughts on that?
I tend to agree to an extent with Robert's point. I would rotate a few. I wouldn't maybe go as high as the 6 or 7, but I would certainly rotate a few just to keep the minutes ticking over on some of the players' legs who haven't had many game time or are returning from injury, just so that we can obviously use the squad. And he has alluded to it as a squad game these days. So I suppose the other flip side is there's a lot of players playing really well right now that could you really name your strongest 11, because you might end up saying, oh, he's left out or he's left out, especially maybe in midfield that we've picked on as well. You've got Diomande just come in, a standout performance yesterday. Lundstrom's showing it again. Lawrence has played there a couple of games as well, and he's put in performances. So could you really pick your strongest 11? That's another dilemma. But for me, I would rotate a few, and as I said, I'd do it up until the European game, and then you know who's fit, firing, and ready to go in Europe.
Young Robert, can I come in? Young Robert, can I come in? Yeah, can I come in? Young Robert, you're right. And see what you're saying about do we know our strongest 11? Can I ask you a wee question, pal? Do John Sterling, see before the winter break, John Sterling was probably man of the match out of 2 or 4 or 5 games. And then yesterday came on and look at the difference he made for Scott Wright. I'll be honest with you, and I don't know what you think, Robert. I think we've got to find a place in that team for that boy, because I think that boy's got the physique, he's got everything about him, and he can play in a number of positions, and I like that, right? I know we all say players should play in their natural position, but I'll tell you right now, see that boy is a player, and I think we should be finding a place in our team every week for that boy, because I think that boy, like Tavernier, like Lundstrom, like Jack Butland, and like Big Golson, I think that boy could easily play 50, 60 games a season.
We've also been joined by Ian. Are you in, Ian? Yes.
I'm in.
How are you, Ian? Nice to hear from you.
I've not been on for a while, as you'll know.
Are you happy with the Rangers just now, Ian?
I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. I was in the tune today, and it was all the glum faces, the green and white mob walking about, their faces tripping them, and some of them were scared to open in the eyes. I just want to say the obvious that everybody else has obviously said. What a great manager we've got. I mean, he's picked up a team that Beale couldn't get a opportunity, and he's got a good opportunity. And we're still not playing brilliant at times, but we're getting the results. And look, we're top of the league. You know what I mean? And we need to sustain that and keep playing. Even if it's just the same way we are, we have bad games, ugly games, win ugly. Who cares? As long as it gets 3 points, it keeps us up there. That'll do me. And I think, and I know, I think we'll beat Hearts and Kilmarnock. Because we're in that sort of form that we don't give up now. Even if we go 1-0 down, we go determined to try and win it 2-1, 3-1. We keep going. We're under Beale, we just sat back and went, oh, well, that's a game finished. And I think we get through these 2 games. I think the league's going to be ours because there's no fear going to, I need to say, Parkhead. I'm going to call it something else, sorry. Need to go to Parkhead, and we'll go to them at Ibrox and we'll do them there. And I think we'll do them in their own park because they're mince. They're absolutely mince. There's nothing to fear. There's no teams going there fearing anymore. They're going and taking them. Look at Hibs and look at Kilmarnock. Teams are going there and fighting. You know what I mean? So I'm over the moon. Really over the moon.
Ian, is it the manager that's giving you the confidence? Is it the players, or is it just a combination of both? Ian, do you think he's just getting the best out of this group of players?
I think it's both. I think he's got the whatever he's doing to this team and getting into their heads, the mentality and the fight and the never giving up in the 90 minutes is obviously through the manager, and they're doing that, and they're brilliant. It's just brilliant. Let's just never say die right to the 90th minute.
Sorry, Ian, I'll bring Albert in. Albert, what gives you confidence? Is it the manager, or is it just certain players that are stepping up?
Yes, well, look at Beale the other day. One of his players came out of the park, he tried to shake, he tried to give him a shake, and he kind of looked at the boy as if he was stupid. Right, now, that's not what managers do to any player. Never mind if it's no your player. That's what he done to some other player the other day. Right, that is, Beale had the tactics. He had the tactics up his hanging. That's fine, but he never had that personality. Can I get the boys all fired up? And I think that Clermont has got that in him. Do you know what I mean? He's one of the guys that can get there to dig deep and look at what they want to do. And do you know what? You're going to hate me for saying this, right? But because some of these players might end up doing England, and I just want them to play good for us. Do you know what I mean? But I think he's getting them fired up about that. Do you know what I mean? He's getting them fired up. Nobody's want to go, oh, he'd doing. Now, as Ian was saying, that was what I was wanting to come in there. Nobody's putting their head down. 1-7, 1-0 down. But they're putting their head up. 1-0 down. Say what these black so-and-so's doing. They're going to, I mean, let's go. Do you know what I mean? And see Tavernier. Tavernier has been brilliant this season. I mean, I swear to God, you could tell underneath Beale, he just wasn't firing on all cylinders. But see, this season, he's firing on all cylinders, and he's the guy. He's our man.
I'm just going to break.
And by the way, can I just say? Sorry, can I just say one thing, Linda? My nephew's just had a wee girl called Gracie Goldie, another wee Rangers fan, just today. It was just to say that was all.
That's lovely, Albert. Congratulations. Another beret. That's fantastic.
Beret.
I was just going to bring in James Henry's #1 fan and ask him what he thinks about his hero reaching 120 goals, Robert Weatherall.
Oh, listen, I wish you hadn't asked that. You'll get me bubbling in a second.
No, you start greeting.
Listen, he's got his critics. We all know if he was a great defender. We all know if he was a great defender, he'd be playing for Real Madrid or Manchester City. Let's be honest about it. Yeah. But you cannot take away his dedication and everything to our club. His stats for over 400 games and his contribution, 19 goals this season, 10 assists. That's 29. He's been involved in 41 games. Listen, nobody can take that away from him. The guy has been incredible. I know I love about him. I really love about him. His leadership on and off the park. See, off the park, you don't hear any bad stories about James Tavernier. You don't hear, and he's a proper captain. If he were best captain of all time, no chance. I could probably name 5 or 6 that were better than him, right? But you know what? What he's done for us over the last 8 years for £300,000. £300,000. That's what we paid for James Tavernier. He's been a credit to Rangers Football Club, and he's been a credit to himself and his family.
Well said,
Robert. Well said, mate. Well said. You've got to remember that guy stuck with us when we were put down to the bottom. We were stuck down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But Bob Gell, Robert.
He stuck with us and he came right up with us. Do you know what I mean? He is Rangers. He's Mr. Rangers.
Yeah, spot on, Albert. Bob, Robert makes a good point about Tav, how he conducts himself.
Absolutely. I mean,
no snidey comments from him, Bob J. I know like a certain other captain after the beat us at New Year, playing to the fans and stuff like that. I've never heard Tav say anything bad about anybody. He just gets on with it. And absolute credit to himself and everybody around him, I think, Bob J.
Well, look, the man's proved me wrong. I mean, I criticised him on occasion. But you can't take it. Robert says you can't take away what he's done for the club. He scored a hell of a lot of goals and been in a hell of a lot of situations as a fullback. And he nearly lifted a European trophy, the man. So, yes, good on you, James Tavernier. I think is that. How many games is that he's played for the club?
Over 400, I think.
Over 400, aye, for the club. And I remember
443.
I remember his first game against the Hibs when we beat them 6-2 at Easter Road, him and Martin Waghorn. And I said, this guy looks all right. But he's a Rangers captain, he's open to criticism. But he's got to the point where I think he's beyond criticism. He's done so well for the club. And I want him to lift more trophies before his time's up with Rangers. And may I say this, from my day, rest in peace, Ian McMillan. I had the privilege of seeing you playing. I used to go up every week when I was a boy and watch Ian McMillan play. He was a great player.
Well said, Bob J.
Yes,
well said.
Well said, mate.
Bridge, would you echo that?
Bob, 100%. No matter who it was, Scott or Henderson, McMillan, Miller, Brandon Wilson. That was the guy that would get you goals. That's the guys. What a team. What a clever line.
Well said.
And also say, you're talking about Tavernier, and Bob just said he was against the Hibs in that 6-2 game. Andy Halliday as well. They come up joined Rangers roughly at the same time. All these boys. They came out to join.
Warburton was the manager, Bridge.
The magic hat. The magic hat. Oh, Clifton is magic. He wears a magic hat. I just love that song.
Linda.
Yes, in you come.
Can I just ask Bob here and Bridgeman a wee question? Because they're vintage like me. They're a couple of years older than me, right? I'm 58. Bob Gear and Bridgeman are a couple of years older than me. Guys, can I ask you, Ian McMillan was a Rangers great, a Rangers legend, and that word legend gets passed a bit too easily, but he was a Rangers legend. Bob Gear and Bridgeman, I'll put you in the spot, because he was one of my daddy's favourite. What was his nickname?
Wee Prime
The wee
Minister.
Prime Minister.
Yes, the wee Prime Minister. Yes, he's go. I knew you should get that right away, guys. My daddy loved him. My daddy used to always talk about him, and he used to talk about Baxter and Eric Caldo. That was my daddy's favourite. And Big Dandy McLean and all these guys.
Can I just come in here and just say, God rest everybody that's my old man, like, God rest them all, because they'll be looking down and saying, well done, man. Do you know what I mean? Well done. We're back there. We're back. Do you know what I mean?
Right, here. Right, I'm going to bring young Robert in. He's got a wee point he wants to make. Ian?
Wonder.
Yes, Ian.
Can I say a couple of hellos and then just go?
Of course, Ian. I was just going to bring you back in on Tav. Is he your favourite player too? Don't feel under pressure to say yes, Ian, just because Robert
I know, I'm
Wetherell's in the
sweating
call.
already.
That's what Rangers is all about. We've all got the rain thoughts about them.
Absolutely. On you, Ian.
I think he's been a brilliant servant to Rangers. I mean, he's been there 8 years and he could have left any time with all the hate that he was getting, and he stuck in at Rangers and said, no, I'm going nowhere, I'm staying with this club. And I think he's done fantastic. And the amount of goals he scored, free kicks, penalties, and other goals, headers, shots, the lot. The man
Even though he's got a lot of criticism for being that.
Well said, Ian, well said.
Even though he's got a lot of criticism for doing all this, like corners and free kicks and all that, but he has, like, done what he said.
I mean, the stuff I read about him sometimes, and I go, what are you talking about? I mean, if I think a lot of the goals that the man scored in certain important games, if it wasn't for his goals, we wouldn't have been certain European ties. We wouldn't even be in cups or getting anywhere in the league. We didn't have Bolton somewhere because we didn't really have that great goal scorers, you know.
Yeah. Ian will probably not appreciate Tav until he's gone, but Ian, you said you had a couple of wee shout-outs you wanted to do, so
I was just wanting to say hello to the guys in the chat, like RFC, Scott, True Blue, Stephen, Pacer. God, I keep saying this all the time, last year, I need to write all their names down.
That's not a bad shout-out you've done.
I remember 5, I think.
That's a great
and then anybody else I've missed, I apologise.
It's a great wee group of people you've got in your chat, Ian, isn't it?
That's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Even though I don't come on and chat some nights, I just sit and listen and watch the comments.
Magic.
Because sometimes I don't feel that great and I'm not going to come on or chat to anybody. I just listen to the programme and look at all the comments. And we do have a good time and a good laugh. That's and good. I've made a lot of
I hear you, mate. I hear you for that, mate. I know what you're talking about there.
Carry on,
Ian.
But you know, sadly, we've lost one with Caroline.
Oh, right. Sorry to hear that, Ian.
On the podcast, but she'll be having the new loving this part of the league. You know what I mean? Because that was something she always wanted and she got it. So we're all thinking about you, Hen.
That's lovely.
Right,
Ian. That's
thanks a lot, Linda, for letting us on.
You're very welcome, Ian, and call back in again.
I will do. Thanks a lot, Linda. Right. Good night, everybody.
To hear from you. Take
care.
Good
night,
Ian.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, Ian.
Good night, Ian.
Young Robert, I'll just bring you in now. You've got a wee point to make about Tav, but don't upset anybody, Robert.
No, it's a good point. I'll take it in the panel as well if you can, Linda. Tav's 32 years of age, right? He's got 120 goals, 127 assists. Robert Wetherell called it. If he was able to kind of defend or anything like that, he would be playing for a different team. See if he does what he's done for our club down in England. He's an internationalist starting position at right back for any international. See the fact that he is getting overlooked because he plays in Scotland, it's quite remarkable because no England fullback does that. But when Robert spoke about his captaincy, his leadership, does MDL see a change in Tav's leadership on the park in terms of communication? Is kind of speaking to the defence as well as the players in front of him compared to what it was before Clement came in? Have you seen a change in Tav's leadership?
Right,
Absolutely.
Bob, Geron, you come. What do you think?
Oh, there's definitely an improvement in Tav since Clement. There's an improvement in everybody in the AO club in general, but with Tav being a focal point as the captain, yeah, there's a total change in him. I see him on the park, shouting at people, demanding things, as a captain should do. I mean, a lot of people doubted the choice, Him being the captain, he's never a Rangers captain. Never. But since Clement came in, there's been a fundamental change in Tavernier. His game, his attitude, everything. And we've all noticed it. And long may it continue. So yes, Robert, you're right enough. There is a distinct improvement in James Tavernier. Aye.
What about you, Breds? Do you think there's a change?
Yeah, there is indeed, yes. I think in his captaincy, he's learning, or he has been learning. Whereas before he was enjoying his football and trying to learn. Something the two didn't match. You can see some subtle changes in him, the way he tries to communicate and tell people. It's really nice to see. I've nothing but admiration for Tavernier. You can't say too much about somebody that scores all 8 goals. It's amazing. What is it? Is it 2 away to being the all-time Scottish record or something like that? Oh, amazing for a fullback. Absolutely amazing. I never knew those stats. Just tremendous. I hope he gets a memorial on Saturday there.
Robert Wetherall, just a wee point from Fox. Now, I don't want to upset you, but he says that you're actually the number 2 fan. He's number 1 Tav fan. Is that okay?
That's okay with me, Linda. Listen, Tav will never be a John Greig, a Richard Goff, or a Barry Ferguson. We all know that. But he's own qualities as a leader. He's got an own quality. And Tav's problem is, and I don't want to be too negative here, Tav's problem is he's played in a lot of poor Rangers teams over the last 8 years. And as I always say, see if the rest of the other 9 outfield players done a quarter what Tav done, we would win the league hands down every single year. That's what I'm going to say. Is Tav up. That's what I think about him, Linda.
By the way, can I ask you a question?
His
brother played for somebody in the Premier League. Is it Bournemouth?
Bournemouth, yes. Marcus Tavernier, Bridge, yes.
No bad player, actually. No bad.
Oh, he's good, Bridge. He's good, and he can put in a good ball as well. He's actually done really well, Bridge. He got a move, I think it was Sunderland he was with, and he got a big £14 million move, and the boy's actually done well. And do you know this? Do you know this, Linda?
Yeah.
Tab's mammy doesn't allow green in her house. There you go. There's a wee exclusive for you. Yes, it does. Just the colour green. Tab's mammy doesn't allow the colour green in her house. That's an exclusive for you all.
Robert W. Do you think, Robert, sometimes it's just the fact that the fans think if he'd won more trophies, Robert, during his time, that he would get more of a hero status? Or do you think sometimes they get sort of a blinkered by some of the defensive mistakes he's made in the past? Do you think there's a bit of that, Robert?
Oh, Linda, there's a bit of both. And he should have won more trophies. 2019 we should have won, and people say about him not taking that penalty. Rangers fans were hounding him because he missed a couple of penalties before that game against Celtic. Morelos missed about 6 sitters that game. And then the season with Steven Gerrard, we should have won the treble. So Tab should have about 5 or 6 trophies under the cabinet, know what I mean? So, Linda, it's a bit of both. But listen, we've seen great Rangers teams in the early 70s and that, and they didn't win many trophies. Great Rangers players, and I'm not going to go down that line, and they haven't won any titles at all playing for our team, and they've been great Rangers players. I just think he's been unlucky, Linda, that he's played at Rangers at the wrong time with a lot of bang average players, and he's kind of carried them. So that's just my opinion, Linda. And I know people say, "Oh, you can't see by him," and I do see his defensive deficiencies. I do understand that,
But I look at other players, world-class players. Roberto Carlos couldn't defend to save himself, and he was a world-class player. There you go.
Yeah. Bob Ger, the manager himself, was talking about Tav in the presser yesterday after the game, and he was quite quick to say that it's not just penalties, Bob Ger. He scored some brilliant goals, free kicks, he scored important goals, none other than the goal that won us the League Cup final, Bob Ger.
Aye, yeah, I mean, this is James Tavernier did it. Robert Frighten, what he's saying, he's spot on. He grew in it. He came to the club in the middle of a transition. We were in that first division when he came, and the club's had to work its way back to where it is now, at the where it belongs, at the pinnacle of Scottish football. And James Taverner's been a part of it all the way. I mean, to try and win the league with some of the squads we had, no, it just wasn't happening. And I've threw examples to everybody. I'm not going to name names, that'll waste time. But we're back at the pinnacle, and James Taverner's been part of it all along. And I hope he can go all the way this year and lift the title. I'm sure he can. And all credit to the boy for his attitude towards the club. He tries 100%, whether he's having a good, bad, or an indifferent game, he tries 100% every single game. He's not the greatest passer of the ball, but neither is Kyle Walker. And we'll make comparisons with him. James Taverner's been a good servant to Rangers, definitely, with all the goals and the attitude he's got. I agree with Robert 100% there, yeah. Good on Jim, good on Natal. Long may it continue.
Young Robert, you got some stats there on the number of penalties?
It's 67 penalties from 120 goals. Now, I know people will look at that and say that's over 50%, but still, you've got to put them away. And it's a 33% chance that you're going to miss it. But that pressure, you'll know yourselves from playing football, 18 yards out, penalty spot, 16 yards out, penalty spot, it's a pressure penalty, every single one you hit. So he's got to put them away. And if you want to compare it's penalties he scores, another player that scored penalties, a defender, Sergio Ramos, nobody criticised him and he was scoring penalties, he was getting goals, so they all count.
Absolutely, and it's pressure. It's not even just in Scotland, he scored them in Europe as well. Robert Weatherall, how are you feeling about this title run in, Robert? How do you feel it's going to? I don't mean to put you on the spot about how it's going to go. We've got to take one game at a time. But Robert, are you feeling confident?
Linda, quietly confident. But I don't like. See when you listen to a podcast like Radio Clyde and all that, and you hear maybe Rangers fans coming on and going, "Oh, we're going to win the league with 10 points. We're going to win the treble. We're going to do that." Please keep your powder dry. That's what I'm always saying. Because see, years gone by, used to hear Celtic players coming on and going, "Oh, we'll pump Rangers. We'll do this. We'll do that." I don't like that. Just keep it in house. Keep it quiet and take one game at a time. I'm a confident. With Philip Clement cards and the way he's brought the best out in some players like Big Sterling, Big Balogun's been outstanding. John Lundstrom has been a colossal. I don't care what anybody says. And people say, "Oh, he's playing for a contract." Big John Lundstrom's been absolutely outstanding in the last 4 months. Do you know what I mean? So, Linda, yes, I'm quietly confident. But these next 2 games, please believe me, and I know you say these next 2 games, as Bridgman says, are the biggest games of the season. Linda, at home to Hearts, and they will come out there and have a go at us, and then away to Kilmarnock on that horrible pitch. See if we can get these 6 points, Linda. My confidence will go up even higher.
Bob, Ger, what's your thoughts? Are you confident? Are you looking forward to the games and just, we'll just take each game as it comes?
I'm going word for word with what Robert says. It's a good night for me and you, Robert. We're agreeing with one another for one.
As Bob Ger. We've seen some of the great players, didn't we? We've seen some of the greats.
Some of the greatest, pal. Some of the greatest. Everybody, Bears, Bearettes, everybody involved with the club, keep your feet on the ground. As the man says, take one game at a time, and it's working. It's a system for us that's working. And we're doing well, and we're playing well, and let's hope it continues. We've only got 12 league games left. Well, okay, there's a possibility something might go wrong somewhere. Nobody wins. There's only one club that thinks it wins all the time. All I wanted this season was to mount a challenge, and by God, we've mounted some challenge. But we've got to the pinnacle, and as everybody's saying, and they're writing off, the difficult part is staying there. So let's keep your feet on the ground, your head up, your head out your proverbial, and get on with it, one game at a time. And I think, I'm like Robert, I'm quietly confident we can do it. I think we all are. And let's not go blowing out trumpet like they do on Radio Snide and BBC Radio and whatever. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. We've not done anything yet. We've only got ourselves into a good place. And long may we stay in the good place. And if we keep going the way we're going, we can stay in the good place. And that's my take on it. The next 2 games, vitally important.
Bridge, one game at a time, man, yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, you can't do anything else. It's got to be played. And that's what we should be targeting. The manager's doing, of course he's doing what he can do. Who are we playing? We're playing what? Good challengers in the league too, Hearts. They're on a run. And the wee centre forward that they've been trying to punt, and a lot of our boys want to buy him. He's scoring goals nearly every game he's scoring. So, yeah, they're not worried about anything at the moment. They know they're going to come to Ibrox, and that's all. They know it's going to be tough. We're a very hard team to beat at Ibrox. But we've been beaten, but we don't want to be. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a real big challenge for Rangers, and this will be hopefully, as Robert says, if you win the next 2 games, I don't want to go past Saturday. If you win the next 2 games, that's a mountain climb. You climbed the mountain, and you got away with 6 points. Fabulous, just fabulous. So I'm only looking for 3 points, and it's only a Saturday. That's what I want. 3 points on Saturday. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to cheer them on. Everybody keep it going for the Rangers.
I'll come back to you on that one. No, but it's the sort of games you want to look forward to, and when you're in a title challenge, they don't come any bigger than, Hearts at Ibrox and a chance to extend your lead. So, well, guys, we've reached that time of the evening. It was nice to get some callers in there for the last part of the show. So, over to Robert W. for some final words.
I'm going to do a bridge man here. 5 more sleeps till I walk up the stair to that club deck and I watch the Glasgow Rangers. And you know what? I cannot wait. And my wee shout out tonight is to all the Rangers fans throughout the world and the Rangers fans that are going to be Ibrox on Saturday. Please, Rangers fans, do what you've done the last few games. Get right behind the team, because the managers actually come out and said it, but the support you have gave the team, especially the last few games, have made a difference to our players. Even if it's not going right in the first 20 minutes, get right behind the Rangers and cheer them for the first minute to the 90th minute. And see if we do that, the Rangers fans, me included, we will win on Saturday. Linda, thank you very much. I loved the show tonight, and thanks for taking my call.
Fantastic, Robert. Thank you for calling. Speak to you soon. Bob J.
Well, I can only continue with my sentiments. Keep your feet on the ground. Get ready for the game on Saturday, and Mr. Clement will have everybody up for it. The support will be up for it. The team will be up for it. Hartnham and Lothian, you're in for a hard time on Saturday for the Glasgow Rangers. Keep it going, Gers, but not a caution. Keep your feet on the ground and just take each game as a time. I'll take a bridge man every time we knew at the end of the season, and there's nothing anybody can do. We can go 5 points. Didn't forget, we can go 5 points in front of them on Saturday, because they didn't play it Sunday. So let's do it. And that's a lot of pressure on them, but that's their problem, no yours. And Linda, thanks for having me on the show, love. As I keep saying, it's the only show that gets better every time you listen to it.
Cheers, Bob.
So like the Rangers.
Cheers, Bob.
Like the Rangers, we're going to get better, and the jokes are going to get worse, I can promise you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Bob. Young Robert.
Great show, Linda. Great to be on with yourself and Bridge. Some good callers in tonight. Yeah. The usual Robert Weatherall, Bob J, the passion, you can't doubt that for a minute. I love hearing that every single time I'm on. So, and also Albert and Ian come in. So, a really good night. Loads of positivity around the support in the club. And let's keep it going, as Bob J says. Feet on the ground, 1 game at a time. But, in the words of big old Mr. Struth, we welcome the chase.
Superb, Robert. Well said. Bridgeman.
Well, what can I say, Linda? Superb night. Well done to everyone. Yourself and young Robert there carrying me through it. Love it. And of course the technical boys in the background. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, this huge game coming up at the weekend, you need to start thinking about it. And if you've got any major thoughts, fears, worries, please phone in, not now, phone the club, phone the show, and you'll thoroughly enjoy whatever chats are going to be there. Can I just say to everybody keep it going for the Rangers, because we are the people. Keep it going.
Can I thank all the callers for calling in tonight? Albert, Bob Jer, Robert Wetherill and Ian. Lovely to hear from all of you. Thank you for calling in. Can I thank Robert and Bridge for helping out with the show? Thank you, guys. Thank you to the techie guys, Fox and Old School Blue. Thanks everyone for listening. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Fox.